Something's going to happen at some point. The only question is when.
It's a perfect storm, really.
Mình ăn mấy cái cò rắn rồi nó cái lợi của nó là gì anh?
The next one could be COVID-20 or 21.
Lợi ích thì nó không có lợi ích mà nó ăn ngon bổ thôi. Ăn ngon bổ.
SARS, MERS, Ebola, 3 killer diseases that jumped from animals to humans.
I would say that the possibility is extremely high that the next infectious disease of humans that comes is going to come from animals, probably wildlife.
Most scientists agree COVID-19 probably originated in wildlife. So how do we stop it happening again and save lives in the future? In Vietnam's Mekong Delta, rats are a cheap and popular snack. While some wet markets just sell vegetables and meat, many worldwide kill and clean animals to order. Elsewhere, different types of birds, some wild, slaughtered and cooked while the customer waits. They say the meat is fresh. Some argue it's kinder than battery farming.
Ăn ngon bổ. Bữa giờ đi chợ có sợ cúm Vũ Hán không?
Sợ thì sợ nhưng mà cái này là của thiên nhiên mà.
Yeah.
Since the news broke that coronavirus may have spread from an animal market in Wuhan, the wildlife trade has been back in the spotlight. But even as we fight one pandemic, it's feared we're opening the door to the next. In Indonesia's northern Sulawesi province, despite the pandemic, our crews film bushmeat still for sale. Most of the animals at these markets are already dead. There's charred dog, barbecued bats, and snakes.
Ya kalau paniki memang susah sulit dan berlaku karena orang masih takut kan, ada isu-isu dari pertama tuh corona itu dari kelelawar, jadi orang lain masih takut-takut.
A cauldron of different species in filthy conditions.
That environment is very high risk. Very high risk. They're not wearing gloves, they're not wearing masks, they're not wearing overalls. All of these different things coming together, live animals, dead animals, pieces of animals, humans. The conditions are absolutely perfect for viruses. It just needs a number of different factors to come together at the right time, and you end up with a pandemic.
Officials at Langwan said they'd investigate what we found, and selling live animals has been banned since the COVID-19 outbreak. There are no plans to close Tomahon Market, but roadblocks are being set up to stop wildlife coming in for food, and people are being advised not to eat it. The World Health Organization estimates that 60% of all infectious diseases in humans come from animals, and COVID-19 has already killed hundreds of thousands of people. Animal welfare campaigners say the message is clear. Wildlife trading must be totally banned to prevent another pandemic. This is Chatuchak in Bangkok, home to one of the biggest pet markets in Southeast Asia. Well, the smell is quite strong.
This is how bird flu started. One migratory fowl bird taken from the wild, coming into close contact with something that we eat.
We're here with environmental investigator Steve Galster.
It's an African sub-Saharan tortoise.
Many stalls don't allow filming, so we're wearing hidden cameras.
Some of these are definitely going to be illegal, some will be bred, but the virus does not discriminate between legal and illegal animals.
Here, domestic and exotic animals mix, raccoons and skunks.
This one's really in distress.
This was the sleepy one.
Yeah, he's awake now and wondering why he's in this cage. This will cost about 1,000 quid.
Hamsters nestle next to hedgehogs. It's like a high-rise block of flats of different animals.
Yeah, this is a petri dish right here.
Some of the animals in markets like this are wild and should never have come into contact with humans. And scientists say when you catch them and sell them, it puts their bodies under a huge amount of stress. That means they're more likely to pick up viruses, which in turn they can pass on to humans. Look at this. In one shop we see a big cat, a caracal in a cage. Elsewhere, South American capybaras.
Yeah, you got a normal dog in there next to
Prairie dog.
prairie dogs, next to meerkats, next to mongoose, next to capybara. So these will be from different parts of the world on top of each other.
What do you think about the chances of another pandemic breaking out from animals like this?
I think there is a real potential for a pandemic jumping out from a market like this because the same circumstances are replicated here. I think it's just a matter of time. These are ticking time bombs.
So how do we lower the risk? Since the coronavirus outbreak, China has banned the eating, capturing and trading of wildlife, and Vietnam's considering similar moves. The World Health Organization say hygiene and safety standards in markets need to be improved. Thai authorities say they clean and patrol the market, and a new wildlife law was brought in late last year. But officials believe change has to be global.
มันคงจะต้องเป็นเรื่องของการรวมกันของระดับนานาชาติมากกว่าเพื่อจะได้ฟอร์สให้กฎหมายเนี่ยใกล้เคียงกันทุกประเทศเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าลำพังประเทศไทยประเทศเดียวเนี่ยก็คงจะลำบาก
We need to end the commercial trade in wild animals and we need to protect the habitat. These are the two main causes of COVID-19.
Kendo! Come on! Hey! Hey!
Edwin Week rescues trafficked animals and unwanted pets.
Do I have fleas? I don't have fleas, do I? No! Hi! Hi! Hi!
There are around 700 animals on this reserve. Some were destined for the meat market. Many were taken by poachers straight out of the wild. The illegal wildlife trade is worth an estimated $23 billion globally every year. But each time someone goes into the forest and takes a wild animal out, they potentially bring a new virus with it. To stop zoonotic diseases, you need to control the wildlife trade. But that includes everything from legal sellers, market stalls, and criminal gangs.
Whatever is illegal will always be done behind closed doors, in dark alleys, in dark buildings, behind walls where nobody can see it. If you can't see it, you can't regulate it. I mean, let's make regulations. Make sure that it's very clear to everyone that if you're going to trade wildlife and you're going to let it happen legally, that it needs to be up to some kind of standard. Well, this is a Malayan sun bear. These bears are taken out of the wild for the bile farms in Laos, Vietnam and China.
Kola was rescued from the traditional medicine industry, a key part of the wildlife trade. Today she's having her annual health checkup. China may have banned the trading, capture and consumption of wildlife, but bear bile is now being promoted as a treatment for COVID-19, despite the lack of scientific proof.
Taking wildlife and other natural resources out of these countries to China. It's almost wildlife colonialism, what you see at the moment, and the impact on the wild is tremendous, it's horrible.
And that's the problem. There is no easy solution. Thousands of incomes rely on the wildlife trade, and some say banning it risks pushing it underground. But the campaigners and scientists I've spoken to agree. Do nothing, and we're sleepwalking towards another pandemic.
Humans never learn from the past. They keep on making the same mistakes. That's the worst thing about the most intelligent species on Earth. We're the most cleverest, but we forget so easily.
How much hope do you have?
If the wildlife is not going to survive, we won't survive. I have little hope.